Alright, so I just finished doing 3 lockouts and now I'm ghetto hearthing so that I can vendor and repair and mail everything off. And I just wanted to go over a few things because I feel like I do a few things that are really beneficial that other people might not necessarily know about. At the end of the day, it's up to you to choose what you want to do with the information, but I feel like in this episode specifically, like, this is information that most people don't have access to. So we're just gonna start by, 3 lockouts. How much is it worth? Let's just do the math real quick. So just vendoring everything that isn't worth auctioning. And obviously I already disenchanted everything that was worth disenchanting. So 75 just from junk. That's pretty good. That's high. Now, just from this part, say 10 each, so 85, 95, 105, 115, 125, 135, and these two. That's basically 145 already, so that's crazy. I got a couple with decent affixes. I always try to sell affixes, but it's up to you and your server economy to do what you want with it. I would say these are worth, all in all, probably like 10 gold, maybe less. So that puts us at what, 155? And then 2 Greater Eternals, it's 165. That's not really worth anything. 5.5 plus 3. Like, you can tell, like, it's going to be close to 200. All these lesser herbs, they're not necessarily going to sell for what it's displayed as. The Ghost Mushroom sells pretty good. Swift Thistle sells pretty good, but all in all, I'd say this is probably worth 200 gold for 3 lockouts, which is to say that it's worth probably 65 gold per hour. And even at that, it's like you're taking long breaks, right? So you could argue that it's even higher. You can say whatever number you want at the end of the day. It doesn't really matter. But in my opinion, it's 65 gold per hour that you're making from Dire Maul East, and it's pretty good gold, like, with herbalism granted, but, I mean, you should be able to have herbalism even if you're engineering. As a mage, you can afford it, and even if you can't afford to have the enchanting as your secondary profession, you only need to have a level 5 bank alt to get the same value. So, as you can tell, I'm in Theramore Isle. I like to go here because it's safer. I'm on a PvP server. If you go to Feathermoon, like, when I was going to Feathermoon, I had the same rogue open up on me probably 3 different times, and I beat him every time. It's just that it wastes my time, and I'm trying to relax on my time that I'm not in the instance, so I'm not trying to PvP and chase after a rogue that can't even beat me. So I just prefer to go here, and then for this, I'm showing you where the back door is. So up here, normally the entrance is through here. You have to go through the gate, and you have to go through the wolves and the ogres. There's a back door that most people don't know about. And so again, it's up to you to choose what you want to do with that information. What I do with it is when I'm resetting, right, every 3 lockouts when my bags are full, I go in through the back door. It's faster. Sometimes I'll clear part of the back, sometimes I'll just go straight through and jump down and get back into my runs. It depends. It's up to you. And then another thing I wanted to do was go over talents. So obviously Ice Block, Ice Barrier, Cold Snap, that's your bread and butter. The rest doesn't really matter, except that I would say it's important not to take Frostbite, especially if you're going to be kiting the packs, and it's important not to take Permafrost, because you're just creating too much of a gap between you and the minions, between you and the mobs. And what happens is it makes it a lot more likely that you're going to pull the patrols by having a long tail behind you. Then, if you want, you can go into Arcane, Clear Casting, Arcane Resilience, Meditation, those are all good, but I have a spec that's specifically for doing this, so I wanted Master of Elements. For me, that's the most important spell here, is that instead of getting a 10% chance of 100% one spell free, you're getting 30% guaranteed, because between Flame Strike and Shatter, you have like a 69% chance to crit, and it only has to crit on one of them to give you the full refund. And you double dip when you're casting your Cone of Cold immediately after your Flame Strike. So you're basically getting the Cone of Cold for free. And then obviously Ignite's really nice. Impact. Honestly, I wouldn't take this. It bothers me just as much as it helps. Because, yeah, you're going to stun the group of minions when they're all grouped up, but sometimes you're going to use Fire Blast just to pull an extra mob, to pull an extra pack or something, and it's going to stun them. It can be annoying, even if you're just trying to, like, get the patrols to aggro onto you so that you can reset and, you know, get back to the graveyard. Like, it's annoying to have them stunned for 2 seconds sometimes. If I could go back, I would change it. The one that I would take instead is probably Flamethrowing, just for the sake of having an easier time pulling the mobs. So, alright, this is where we landed. We're just gonna go straight up. And I mean, I'd also like to touch on gear real quick. Like, the most important thing is the wand. I can't even count how many times the wand has saved my life, just having a high-level wand that does a lot of damage. And the only thing that's, other than that, that's important of any of this is you want to have high health. You want to have a lot of stamina. Intellect is good too. The spell power is completely worthless, honestly. Like, to the extent that having stamina is going to keep you alive, doing more damage is not necessarily going to kill them any faster. The thing that's really keeping you alive in terms of, like, you know, like the long-term strategy of things, it's ice armor. Like, having them have their attacks slowed every time they hit you, having them be slowed so that you can kite them, like, you're taking basically no damage. Alright, so for the back door, I don't have a key. If you have the key, that's great, but the first day for me, it wasn't worth my time to get the key. I just wanted to get straight in and start farming lashers, and to this day, I mean, I just don't understand why I would. It's not worth my time. So, I just try to aggro as many of these guys as I can. You know, sometimes, because this is an area where not a lot of people go, it's highly botted, and that can make it so that it's hard to get mobs. But, you only need one to get killed, and at the end of the day, if they're hitting you too hard, you can put up a mana barrier, you can, Frost Nova, you can blink, you can sit to get crit, and then you just want to run from the graveyard. And again, I feel like not a lot of people know about this. Like, if you're Horde, obviously, you can just fly to the camp and walk straight up, and it's a lot easier, but, like, even as Alliance, like, I feel like this is faster than going to Feathermoon and swimming and taking the front door. Even if it's completely uncontested, you're walking in free without any interference from either the ogres or from people that are PvPing you. So, in my opinion, like, this is big. Like, this is one of the biggest things that I do differently than people that I feel like it really saves time. And, like, if you're pulling one pack at a time, that's obviously making you go really slow too, but, like, getting back, like, that's the most important thing. Especially if, like, because when you get back, you're probably going to be locked out. Like, you want to take a break, you know? Like, I still have 7 minutes left. Like, I can't even show you what the backside is like. So, we're just going to jump down real quick. And resin here. There's a torch if you ever want to let your friends in. And then, yeah. Alright, lockout's finally over. Let's get in.
Cool.
So, the back is a lot like, let's say the part where Hydro Spawn is. Basically, there's just herbs and pods and a bunch of stuff that you can aggro. Sometimes there's a Grom spawn over here. You can get it by Frost Novaing them and dead zoning them. I wouldn't recommend it. It's not worth your time, especially if you mess it up. This one's obviously free. Sometimes there's some upstairs as well. And then to get the other one, I'm just going to go to the evade spot real quick. So I just go here to evade, and nobody there can see me, nobody here can see me. So sometimes there's also one here, right there. There's a hidden satyr here. There's also a hidden satyr in the hallway. So we're going to be in combat for a while after this one, basically, because it's just not worth the time to drop combat. And I'm going to do a full run, pretending like I'm getting the chest as if it were unlocked. Sometimes the chest is locked. If you have engineering stuff or whatever, then you're able to get it, but I usually just skip it all entirely unless I'm really just trying to get the gold and just trying to play, get the most for my time. Sometimes there's a Grom spawn here. Instead of taking it on the way through, I take it on the way back, because obviously we've got a tail following us. It's not that bad. But, so the chest is here, and it's unlocked. Perfect. This is great for a demonstration. So I'm just aggroing them. And, oh, this is incredibly dangerous. But it's just to say that, if you do everything right, it works out. You can counterspell the people, you can line of sight, you can blank. And most importantly, you just want to have enough health to survive the jump onto the safe spot. That's basically the same as the one that we did in the last room. So just look behind to see how close they are. And we just want to give ourselves enough time to open the chest and get everything in it before they reset all the way back to us and get us back into combat. So it's also important that there's a caster that goes on the side that can patrol up there. You want to make sure that the caster patrols. Obviously, I just pulled everything, so I didn't have to think about it too much. But yeah, you just want to get back here because they're going to line up there. And obviously it's a chest, so most of the time it doesn't have anything good in it, but it can have good stuff in it. And then obviously there's a ghost mushroom. I guess I'll show you how to get it. I like getting this ghost mushroom because it's a really interesting way that you can get it. That you just blink and you don't aggro the lasher at all.
5.
So you just move your camera and loot it through the wall. And then you just gotta be careful for this guy because he patrols.
4.
So I just wait for my blink to come back up.
3. 2.
And, yeah, sorry if the weak war is annoying.
3.
I should probably redo the video and turn it off, but whatever. I'm lazy.
2.
I'm not doing this for money, I'm doing it for clout.
4.
So at this point, we're going back. And the only thing that's important to know is that in the hallway there's an invisible satyr, and then there's a big tree, and then a bunch of little lashers, and you just want to make sure that the big tree doesn't hit you. You can mana shield if you want, it doesn't really matter. So this guy, he's going to take 4 steps. You want to blink between steps 4 and 5.
1.
And then you can Nova these. Sometimes there's a patrol that'll shoot lightning bolts or try to entangling roots you. But I just try to stand right here on this corner, wait for my blink to come up. It's not worth wasting your ice block to fall down, and obviously I'm not using the bag slots for light feathers to slow fall. So you just want to angle it so that after you jump backwards, your blink sends you forward. And then you just want to wait to drop combat, and you're back in it. I typically start with the second pull first and do the first pull last, because we're already on this side. And that's it.